Welcome to the Forever Cash Life Real Estate Investing Podcast with your hosts, Jack and Michelle Bosch. Together, let's uncover the secrets to building true wealth through real estate and living a purpose-driven life.
Welcome to today's episode of the podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Bosch, co-creator of the Land Profit Generator Method. Super excited to be coming to you all today with something that is dear to my heart, and that is talking about courageous choices. Whether it be investing in real estate, whether it be investing in land, whether it be in relationships, in your work, in your current career, in life in general. Life in general is about making courageous choices. We're always at every situation, at every moment, deciding whether, we are going to perpetuate our past or if we're going to go ahead and transform our present and therefore really change our future. One of my biggest and deepest convictions is that, my future is bigger and better than my past. And as a result of that big, deep conviction, I put myself deliberately in environments of hyper growth where there's almost like a little echo chamber of resonance of people that are being brave, that are being courageous, that are taking courageous choices, that are having courageous thoughts, visions, dreams, that are taking really just courageous actions each and every single day. And I wanted to talk to you all today about courageous choices and give you kind of like a little rundown. I wrote down, at different points in my life, and perhaps we can make this podcast episode be a little bit interactive, not just passive, where you're just listening to me, but where you are actually going and taking some moment of reflection. If you're on your car, please don't do that right now. But if you're walking and when you come back from home, or you're listening to this while you're at your computer or wherever, and you have a moment to write things down and start thinking about a list of courageous choices that you have done throughout your life, and looking at the patterns of what has happened each and every single time you have made a courageous choice. I will go ahead and give you, for example, my own exercise that I went through as well, of coming up with a list of 7 really choices that, if I look back, have really been the pivotal choices that I have made that have really allowed me to basically create a new timeline, create a new destiny, create a new trajectory completely. And that over time, basically, my trajectory has not just been, from where my present was back then to where I am right now. It hasn't been like a small difference. It has really completely changed. And I don't think those lines will ever intersect as a result of these choices. So number one choice that I wanted to talk about was I decided a while back when I was still in grade school that I was going to own being the oddball, own being the different one, own being the weird one, own being the girl that was geeky, that loved math, that excelled in academics, that excelled in pretty much any project that she decided to go after, that was incredibly ambitious. And that choice of embracing and really owning up to the fact that I was an oddball when I was growing up, even though I was, rejected by my peers because they were more interested in liberal arts and in reading and in language arts. And I was much more interested in math and sciences and that kind of stuff. And although I didn't become a doctor or a mathematician, that strength and that unique genius and ability has served me incredibly well in the business space. And thank goodness for basically making that first courageous choice. So can you look back at a choice that you've made maybe far back into your past, even when you were a child, that comes to mind, that really speaks to your heart, that sometimes even as a result of that choice, you may have lost certain friends, or you may have been, like I said, rejected, and that really causes and stirs up some emotion in you, go ahead and write that down. And then we're going to go through a progression, perhaps, during the course of this episode, of other choices that you may have made. For me, specifically, the next big choice that I had to make was, at some point, I was about 18 and a half years old, and I decided that I wasn't going to continue in my home country studying, at a university level, that I was going to come to the U.S. And so I immigrated into the U.S. A lot of you guys know, our story, with 2 suitcases to my name, without network, without a whole lot of money, with, yes, somewhat of, conversational English, but never something where I felt incredibly comfortable like I did, in my own native, Spanish. And instead of staying home in my comfort with friends, with family, I decided to just basically cut all ties and come here and create a future for myself that, was better than the past that I was leaving behind in my home country. And so that was courageous decision number 2. So maybe you have, around your teenager years, a courageous choice that you can think of, that really completely changed. If I would have stayed in Honduras, I would have probably been, in banking. I would have probably, with my work ethic, probably gone up the corporate career. But I don't know that I would have been able to accomplish the things that I accomplished here in the US in real quantum time, because the moment we found real estate investing, and specifically our niche of land investing, we were able to really create leaps in income that would have taken otherwise, other people years in another asset class. So that was courageous choice number 2. Courageous choice number 3 was actually leaving our corporate jobs. We had great jobs in the finance space for myself, Jack in the software space. He used to work for a company that, was absorbed and is now Oracle. He was a business consultant with all the glamorous of, 100% travel. I worked for Motorola in their financial department doing, month-end close and financials and reporting and so on and so forth. But when we decided that wasn't the life that we wanted, because it didn't give us the freedom, the fulfillment, and our paychecks certainly did not match the time and effort. It was really difficult, because everything we knew about, people around us prior, at least that were directly, connected to us, that influenced how we grew up and the value system and the beliefs that we came up with, that we were raised with, none of them had left a corporate job to go and pursue something like becoming a full-time real estate investor. Like Jack's father is a high school teacher. My mother is an elementary teacher. My father passed away when I was very young, so she pretty much raised me as a single mom. And I didn't have that example of someone showing me what does it look like, to be a full-time investor, and on top of it, to be a full-time investor as a woman. Yeah. So it was really a hard decision. And once we had our green cards, we knew that we were ready. We had already started investing in land, and we're already on our way. We had started it as a side hustle, and we already had quite a bit of progress in the first couple of years. The first one, not so much, with a lot of trial and error. But in the second year, we were already having replaced our income, and already with money in the bank, as a reserve in terms of savings when we decided to leave our jobs. But nevertheless, it was a scary decision. You could perhaps be in a similar situation as well, where you're like right on the cusp, especially if you've been investing already in land, and you're at the cusp of that false sense of certainty, that your job brings you, and you're trying to make that decision and trying to figure out how to make it so. And I just want to say, if you're there, go ahead and take the plunge. You will never look back. If you are at a situation where you still haven't invested and you need your corporate income right now to help you fuel basically the growth of your investing business, by all means, you can start this as a side hustle. Absolutely. We have countless of success stories inside of our Land Profit Masters coaching program of people that are doing exactly just that. And within, 5 to 6 months, getting to the first $100,000. And then, within the first year, completely replacing their income, if not within 14, 16 months, and so on, which in my mind is a record speed, So that was, the third big decision was leaving our corporate jobs. The fourth decision was, and we knew that it was going to be real estate. And then the fourth decision was deciding to commit to land, to not basically run after every other shiny penny, in terms of rehabbing or other strategies that are out there in the real estate space, but really committing to mastery and to going deep in this one lane that we picked, and really becoming masters in every sense of the word. Yeah. Owning that space, becoming market makers in many markets, and really conquering and dominating. And that's what we did. And it became an incredible wealth accelerator for us to have made that courageous choice of, again, being the oddball, the one that is not doing the sexy things with the renovations, the one that is not, doing the sexy syndications with large multifamily, because back then we didn't have even the sophistication, the knowledge, the confidence, the capability, to go after, such deals of 100 plus apartment, units in a specific building. Now it's a completely different story. But back when we started, that's not where we were. And so from our perspective, as far as we were concerned, that was for us an incredible, courageous choice as well, to basically, even though we were laughed at sometimes within, circles inside of real estate investors associations and masterminds, for, again, being the oddballs, being the weird ones that were interested in dirt, and not just producing, cash profits from dirt from wholesale, but also producing passive income. It was an unconventional way for us to go about producing passive income and really building that passive income to, over $75,000, which is over $800,000 in passive income per year, because the $75,000 was per month just from land, just from notes. When people, hear about that, they're blown away, because sometimes we give the example of, a piece of land that you sell, for $500 a month every month. And when you think about that, well, $500 is not going to make a big drop, in your lifestyle. But when you start thinking about the compounding effect of not just having one land note, but having out there 50 people, 50 land notes, 50 people sending you mailbox money at $500 each, that's all of a sudden $25,000 per month of passive income. So it requires that you see the compounding effect. But for us, like I said, none of those people paid our bills that were laughing at us, and that were, thinking that we were the oddballs and the weird ones. And so we stick to what we knew worked, the proven model that we were developing, that we had at our hands. And we basically double down, lean in when others, made jokes. And instead of retracted, again, we went all in on it. So that was courageous choice number 4. Courageous choice number 5. Okay, so now this was, when we started investing in real estate was 2002, specifically in land. And then 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16. In 2016, 14 years later, is that 14 years? Yeah. We decided to start investing in multifamily. Actually, already in 2009, we were in the incredible privileged situation that while everyone was losing their shirts with houses, in the land space, in that big recession of 2008, we were seeing absolutely no changes in our ability to sell land, to acquire land. And so we kept on doing it. And we were, at that point starting to transfer, but we were already, in 2008, 2009, we had already been doing this for a good 6+ years, just devoted to this one path, focus only on this one path when we decided to start investing in single family homes and residential homes, especially here in the Phoenix area. Phoenix was for sale. We could get houses for $50,000, put in $10,000 in repairs and rent them and start creating passive income from houses. And in 2016, we thought, okay, there's one bigger leap that we're going to take. And this is all while still maintaining our land cash machine going. We decided, okay, in 2016, we have mastered the land. We have mastered single families. We now are on our way, in terms of our growth as investors, on our way to start mastering and learning about multifamily. Since then, we now have over 1,000 units in our portfolio under management, where we've brought properties, not just from finding the deal, fundraising, really turning around the property, repositioning, but also exiting and creating incredible returns for our investors. And the ability to do that for others and be great fiduciaries of other people's money has come from our deep conviction, again, that our future is bigger than our past. But in order for that future to be bigger than our past, we're going to have to be making courageous choices, different decisions than the ones that we took in the past. Because our present today is a reflection of courageous choices that we've done in the past. So if we want to continue pushing, that future, and making it bigger and making it better, we need to continue in our present to continue making choices. Yeah. Because the choices, like I said, that we did in the past are only going to give us the present today. But if we want to continue, really pushing the boundaries of what's possible, the courageous choices need to be a lifetime commitment. Need to be something that you do every day, that becomes part of your DNA, that becomes who you are, that every cell in your body exudes with the ability to make certain decisions every single day, uncomfortable decisions every single day. Our cells are always listening to what we're saying in terms of our thoughts and in terms of our actions. And sometimes our actions do not really I would say match the goals that we have, whether it be fitness, whether it be financial goals, whether it be relationship goals. And so it's important to note that it requires, that in order for our future to be bigger than our present right now, that in our present and forward going, courageous choices are really a lifetime commitment. Yeah. So that was our choice number 5. That was courageous. Then at some point, we decided to, after having had the privilege of really scaling, our land investing, our single family, our multifamily investing to large scale, we had freedom of money, we had freedom of time, we had freedom of relationships, but there was something else missing, and that was the freedom of purpose. And making the courageous choice of, even though we knew absolutely nothing about teaching others and coaching others back in, 2009 or 2010, we decided to start basically sharing our method with others, especially in such an environment where we could see that we were doing so well while others were struggling so much. And that's where, this mission of creating and bringing really 1,000 families to millionaire status really started from a courageous choice of not knowing anything about how to be an educator, anything about online marketing, anything about really this completely different industry, information industry and coaching and education industry, and still going forward because we were after, that fourth freedom, that freedom of purpose. And we decided to, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this big time. And we decided to scale our business. Fast forward to 2020, at the beginning of COVID, we had a huge betrayal of trust inside of our organization, and we decided again that we were going to make another courageous choice, and that courageous choice was that we were not going to tolerate that, and that we were not going to compromise on our values of honesty, of integrity, of excellence, of being transformational to everyone that we touch. And so with that, it meant that, that entire team that we had to be let go, and we had to build pretty much our team from scratch again. And especially on the sales side, we had to rebuild that team again. And it was the best decision that we could have ever made. We have been able to touch now thousands and thousands and thousands of people more as a result of that choice. And we are well on our way to making that dream and that mission and that vision a reality of really elevating 1,000 families and bringing those families from being 1 in a million to being a category of 1. And, I look back, and in the moment, it felt like we were going through fire. And that's probably how sometimes you might feel when you're going, to make a courageous choice in your life that feels uncomfortable, that feels scary. You're going to have to hit kind of like the fear override button and go forward with that decision, even though it feels uncomfortable as hell, and move forward in faith having faith in your abilities, in your capabilities, in what you have been able to accomplish up until that point, in your ability to learn quickly, in your ability to always be making progress. And so it's important to, when we're having, this situation of having a courageous choice in front of us, of having faith in ourselves, having faith in the goodness of others. There was an amazing woman that we found that became part of our team that helped us rehire, that helped us recruit, train, and build up, a new team. And then having faith also in the unknown, that in the moment, it didn't feel like that was part of the plan of becoming, the Harvard of land flipping and the number 1 incubator of land flipping businesses in the country, and of becoming the couple that had the audacity to dare to dream that 1,000 families could be elevated to millionaires just from flipping dirt, for goodness sake, and in that moment, it didn't feel like that was that we were, it felt crazy. But now, having been on the other side, I can tell you, like I said earlier, we're so much closer to that mission. And it is thrilling. It is exciting. It is exhilarating to push yourself, and then to look back and with pride, look at the courageous choices that you've made. So throughout your career, what kind of courageous choices, just like the ones that I have been describing, have you made in order to be able to have freedom of money, freedom of time, freedom of relationships, and freedom of purpose, And so what choices have you made? Look at those, revel in them, take confidence from them, take energy, let them energize you, and let them allow you to keep moving forward and committing to more, courageous choices into the future, and even bigger, I would say, decisions that will come perhaps with bigger problems, with bigger challenges, but where that you can rise up to those challenges and rise up to those difficulties, because you've done, and you've done this cycle of making courageous choices over and over and over again, and that repetition has strengthened you to the point where you can rest in that strength of having made those choices to continue making choices going into the future. Yeah. So along with that decision, that sixth decision, came another decision, which was when we decided, that we were going to blow this out of the water in 2020 with this new team. We also looked at the industry. We looked at the industry and what was being offered out there. And what we noticed out there is that everyone that was doing it, some people were doing a great job, but they were not doing a job to the level that Jack and I like to operate. And so we decided that instead of looking and seeing this industry, this real estate education industry, as an industry where you want to charge the most while giving the least, we wanted to really put that on its head. And we wanted to be and stand for, like I said earlier, the Harvard of land flipping, where we give the most of what we have to offer. And not only that, but looking at every single spot where a person that wants to become a full-time real estate investor is being failed at in what was out there in the marketplace. And we were determined to not just have an opinion of what could be done better, but that we wanted to not just have that opinion, but actually bring that solution to the marketplace. And we completely transform and redesign our coaching program. It's now a 12-month coaching program with access to one-on-one mentorship from the top land investors in the country, actual people doing the work in the trenches every day, having access to them every day, pretty much in a group environment as well, not just one-on-one, having accountability, because success is not an easy thing. It requires human intervention. Yeah, it requires human intervention because things are going to happen along the way that are going to derail us. And in order for us to stay on path, we sometimes need to create for ourselves accountability, surround ourselves with an environment and network of people that are also peers and that are doing even bigger things than the things that you want to do. You want to be in an environment where there's people that are doing amazing things that are going to pull you towards that new frequency, towards the new normal, and help you normalize new levels of success for yourself, not just in finance, but in fitness, that, in relationships, people that are consistently bringing in profits, that are consistently enjoying freedoms, that are consistently putting their families first, that are consistently traveling, that are consistently having choices, that are consistently making courageous choices. And that is so important. I cannot underestimate we cannot underestimate the power that has in allowing you to have that faith in yourself to continue moving forward along the path. And those people are part of also the next, extension of faith, which is having faith in the goodness of others, of all those people that are now, successful and that want to see you succeed as well. And that are also pulling you up, helping you inside of our, Land Profit Masters Coaching Facebook group, inside of the group calls every single day on Zoom, in your one-on-ones, with the top land investors, really looking at your business, and people that are at the top of their game, telling you exactly what you need to change, what you need to adjust, what millimeter adjustments you need to make to really see, exponential results while collapsing time and really seeing an ROI on your time, energy, and effort that you're putting into this, into building a land investing business. So that was for us a big thing. And again, we were the oddballs. We were the weird ones. We were the ones that, oh my gosh, we're doing this incredible heavy lift. But you know what? Jack and I have zero fear of hard work. And that has been one of our biggest advantages in everything that we have decided to do and committed to do in our lives, has been exactly that: zero fear of hard work and of putting in the reps, putting in the work, and doing that heavy lift, because that is what is in integrity to what we believe we wanted to bring to the marketplace, as we went and tackle this mission of bringing 1,000 families to millionaire status. So that was another courageous choice. And what I noticed is that every single time I make a courageous choice, and you probably have noticed this, if you have a moment of reflection to write down at least 5 or 6 courageous choices throughout your life, is that it becomes easier. And that sometimes when it's not easy, you will have created for yourself kind of like a pattern where the ball is so in motion towards continuing to make brave and courageous choices that the success, that next level that you're looking for, is inescapable, is inevitable. And even though you might hesitate for a second here and there, for a minute, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And those decisions then continue to be made with much more ease, with much more grace, with much more capability, with much more, I would say, even elegance. And it becomes, easier and easier. And And when it's not easy, like I said, we have surrounded ourselves with an amazing team, with an amazing group of our own mentors, because we also need mentors as well, to help us, continue to up level in things that we have never done before. We had, dreaming of 1,000 families to millionaire status was nothing that we woke up with one day. It started, slowly over a progression of years where we thought, we can do this based on our successes so far. We can take the next step and the next step and the next step and the next step and the next courageous choice and the next courageous choice to getting it done. So guys, I hope that you can workshop through this exercise of looking back and reflecting upon your life about the courageous choices that you have made to this point and the courageous choices that are still ahead of you, that are still in front of you, that you need to make today in order to become the person that you want to be, a year from today, 3 years from today, 10 years from today, the person that you want to, at the end of the day, when your time is up here on this earth, the person that is going to look back and it's going to look back without regrets, knowing that they have really stepped into the highest of their true potential of what they came here to this earth to do. And it's important to look at that. It's important to reflect on that and not just look at the ones that we've made, but also at the ones that, that are necessary into the future, the courageous choices that are necessary into the future to become the 2.0 version of yourself. It is a responsibility. And, it's not easy if you don't see yourself as a leader. Sometimes leaders need to make courageous choices and they need to make them all alone. And that, can never be easy. But know that every single time that you make a courageous choice, that you're leaving an imprint in the universe and that it's really trickling down, that energy is impacting others, that are then seeing your role model, your example, and are inspired by that and are really energized by those choices. And therefore it allows them to make that choice easier for them and for their families. And the ripple effect across families, is incredible amongst the network inside of our Land Profit Masters community. So I couldn't be more excited to come to you guys with today's episode. And if you're at this brink right now, at that point in time when you need to make a decision where you know that you want to be all in, that you don't want to retract, but that you want to lean in towards courageous choices, and you're looking for a mentor in the land investing space, know that we would be ecstatic and thrilled to guide you through our 12-month incubator. You can always book a call with our team of land experts. They're all land flippers themselves. And you can go to www.landcoaching.com, and book a call to see if we are a fit for each other. If you are the type of person that has made courageous choices, that is committed to courageous choices into the future, that is committed to growth and committed to a lifetime of real transformation and evolution and growth and consistency. Because at the end of the day, inconsistency can really destroy not just your financial goals, but also relationships, your health. How much has inconsistency already cost you when it comes to, to your health, when you know that you're not supposed to eat certain things and you eat them anyways, or when you know that you should be doing something, but you're not doing it anyways, and you're dragging your feet. And because of that, I would say paralysis analysis and waiting for all stars to align, when all stars are not going to align for all of us. Stars never align. Actually, you just have to decide that, you're going to put a line across the sand and you're going to make a decision and you're going to go forward with it and you're going to give it your all, and that you're going to see the fruits of your labor. And in making those courageous choices, you're almost going to notice that you're going to have almost like a childlike innocence when it comes to getting those visions of a bigger future and a better future to pull you forward. So again, it was my pleasure spending time with you guys today in this episode of the podcast. And I hope that this episode on courageous choices, that you actually workshop it with me, that you actually bring out the pen and paper, that you look at courageous choices that you've done in the past, the effect that those have had, as evidence, as proof that it is necessary in order for, what you're looking to accomplish into the future, to continue making those courageous choices, so that success becomes inevitable, and it's basically success cannot evade you when you're doing that day in and day out. That I know for sure. So thank you again. And if you would like to schedule a call, landcoaching.com. We're always at your service. Looking forward to partner and link arms with you and give you all the support that we need, and that you need more than anything, to make your dreams come true. So thank you so much. And until the next one, bye-bye.